hated coming to this well. I just hated it. But I had to come because I needed water, and this was the only well that we had. And I would always come in the hot, hot noonday sun. But one day my life changed forever. So I arrived at the well on another hot day. And of course I was alone until he came. This man, he came to the well, wiped his brow, and sat down right at the edge of the well, not that far from me. At first I thought about taking that long walk back home. But look, I was still thirsty. So I used to be taught to fear men, especially strange men like this one, who obviously did not belong here in Samaria, because he was obviously a Jew, and Jews hated us Samaritans. But there was something about him that I did not fear. So I approached the well hesitantly. I figured if I walked real slow, he wouldn't see me. So as I was putting my jug down the well, he turned to me and he smiled. He smiled at me. No one smiled at me in a long, long time. I don't even think I smiled back. Actually, I don't even think I remember how to smile. This man was starting to feel it. Very uneasy. So I turned to my task and I started going faster. And then he spoke to me. He asked me for a drink of water. Me, a woman. I said, I am a Samaritan. A woman. I had to remind him that he was a Jew. He laughed again. And he said to me, he spoke to me, he said, I have living water. He offered me something called living water. Living water! Now, I know he was talking to me now, because this man was crazy. He said if he was to give me this living water, I would never thirst again. I wouldn't even have to come back to this horrible well. And he told me I would want this more than life itself. So I asked him for it. And he dropped this bomb. He said, go, call your husband and come back. I knew that he knew I have had 5 husbands. And the one I'm with now was not my husband. The shame I felt standing there right there in front of him. I just wanted to disappear. But then his eyes was looking at me as though they could see the darkest part of my life. They didn't look at me to shame me, nor condemn me. But he looked at me as though he loved me. He loved me. He could see everything. But he was still willing to sit here at the well in public with me. And then he told me this amazing truth. You see, we have been waiting on God's chosen one. You know, the Messiah. He asked me, did I believe this? I said, oh, yes, I do, with all of my heart. And he smiled again, leaned into me. He said, I, the one speaking to you, am he. I couldn't contain myself. I started running to town, forgot my water jug, to tell everyone, I have seen the Messiah. And I told them my story. And guess what? They all listened to me. And they believed me. And I started believing myself because you know what? I am not unwanted. I am not in love. Because the Savior of this world showed me this. So now, yes, I do go back to the well. in a hot noonday sun, to find someone that was just like me, and to tell them too that you too can thirst no more.